If you have a Christmas nativity of some sort, the characters, I realize they might differ from your set to another person's. Maybe there's an angel, maybe not. Maybe there are 3 wise men, but maybe those characters are left out. But recently I was thinking, in all of the nativity sets that I have seen, the one character I've never seen depicted is this, the innkeeper. Have you? Now, I have heard the Christmas story read to me more times than I can count, and if you're a Christian person, maybe you can relate. I've sung the Christmas story, I've seen it portrayed in movies and through drama, and in my mind, I have to admit that I always picture a cranky innkeeper telling poor Mary and Joseph that there is not enough room for them in the civilized part of the inn. But if they could just hang on for a second, he'll set them up in the barn out back. But listen to these verses from Luke chapter 2. So Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and the line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him, and he was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn son. She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger because there was no guest room available for them. Now, the Gospel of Luke is the only book in the Bible where we have a really specific touch point to the birth story of Jesus at all. And did you catch when I read that? There is no mention of an innkeeper. Now, maybe it's because I love a good fiction book and I love the way that an author's words can get your imagination going, and maybe I accidentally inserted an innkeeper because it's implied. Maybe it's because I like to make things up and I always thought there was a line about a person who's an innkeeper. Who knows? But I wonder if this is an important detail to bring up because we like the idea of someone in the story who's kind of a bouncer. Someone who says, my inn does not have room for a baby who's going to become the savior of the world. Sorry. We want to be able to point to him or her as a villain in this story. So if that villain doesn't even exist, what does this part of the story mean for us? I wonder if the author of Luke wants us to think about the times in our lives where there has been no room for us. In another translation of the Bible, verse 7 says there was no place for them. We can all relate to that feeling. The times in life where we feel out of place, the times where we feel like we don't fit in, to the time, to the circumstances, to the situation. It's not always about one bad person pushing us out. Or maybe to think about this idea of room in a different way. Sometimes we simply don't have any more room in our lives. We're the ones who filled our lives with stuff, with busyness, and yet we feel isolated. We feel empty. This Christmas, what room in your life are you especially noticing? If you're feeling like there's no place for you, know that God shows up in the most unexpected rooms, even the smelly, cold, dirty barns alongside the animals. Or maybe this Christmas, you actually feel like your mental, your physical rooms are full to the brim. You're tired, you're overwhelmed, and maybe it's time to let some things go, to make room in your lives for the things that matter most. Not vilifying anyone, but realizing that it's good for all of us every once in a while to step back, to re-examine the characters in the story, and to see who's actually there, or who we've made up or added along the way. And looking again, that new perspective, that different perspective might be just what we need.